So welcome. It's so lovely to see you both, Olivia and Raf Ocaña, the Fifth Dimension Earth. And so pleased to have you on the podcast today because I've been working with you now for about 18 months on and off, and just following with you as part of your group and just loving everything that comes out of you that obviously is, shared from our physical teams and non-physical teams. And so pleased to sort of introduce you to our listeners today, and so we can find out a bit more about you. So hi, Liv and Raf.
Hello. Thank you for asking us. We don't often we get asked a fair amount to attend things or kind of do interviews, but we're always guided on it, and very rarely do we do it. And this is actually one of the reasons why we wanted to come on this particular opportunity, is because of you, actually, because the team, the Abraham Jesus Collective, you represent something that is really everything that we've been about the last 3 years, and that is real change. People that really want to change, taken the opportunities, gone through their awakenings, are starting to do this kind of stuff, raise the vibration of the planet. It's like a celebration. So for us to be here, it's a privilege just to have been part of your journey. So it's lovely it was lovely for us when the team said you should do this one. So thank you.
Absolutely, Katie. Absolutely. And where you are in your journey represents something for us too. And that's why this is a beautiful time for us to spend together and to share a little bit of that journey, a little bit of who we are, but also some of your experience with us as well, with your listeners.
Yeah, because you've been awesome, my dear. Come on.
Oh.
Admit it. Admit it.
Okay, I've been awesome. Oh, do you know what? That has just given me goosebumps all over hearing you say that, because it's just been such to be honest, a roller coaster of a ride. And I'm sure I'm not the only one who says that as well as yourselves. But oh my gosh, the highs that have come out of working with you both, and all of our, respective non-physical teams, our gathering group of fellow physical humans that are going through this journey with us. It's just been phenomenal. And I don't even think there are sufficient words in our language to describe what we've been through. So I feel really honoured to have you here, but it's so lovely to hear you say that, you feel the same way back. That's fantastic. And so shall we ask who you are and what we're talking about? Because for anyone who's not aware of what we've been doing, they're probably thinking, what is going on? What's this been all about?
Absolutely. So, there's lots of labels, if you like, lots of things that we could call ourselves. But we're here as physical humans who are connected, who understand our non-physical team, and who are here to share with whoever wants to know, whoever is asking for real clarity, for real understanding, because so many want to change. So many are seeking, are searching for answers, are searching for change, but they're trying this and they're trying that and not quite getting the results that they want. And the result being that they feel free, that they stop feeling so crappy, that they can actually live their life full of love, full of wonder. They hear these words and they see it as an aspiration, something that they want to achieve, but just don't know how to get there. And what we're sharing is the how. Okay, so it's not all about philosophy. It's not all about guidance and a way to live a life. It's how you go about doing that. And we're all about enabling that for others.
Yeah, and I'm Raf, basically. Sometimes Raphael, and sometimes both. And look, in all seriousness, we actually asked that question on Believe. We ask it, and we say, ask people to connect to that in the book. And at the end of the day, we're just physical humans. But when you go through the journey, when you go through an awakening like you have, what you start to do is you start to open up to all that you are. And that's a spiritual reference, all that you are. And that means something. It's not just a dictionary definition or an expression. And when you connect to all that you are, you remember your life before you were physical. You remember what you trained for. You remember who your guides are. You remember what your soul contract is. You remember that you came to earth not just to do this and do that, but actually to do nothing, to experience it, not just to achieve. And you're happy to be. You are full of desire. You love hanging out on the sofa, but sometimes it's boring doing that, and you want to go out and kite surf in Tarifa, wherever it may be. Yeah. When you go through your awakening, you end up right back at the beginning, and that is a wonderful place to be, because it's connection, it's nature, it's God. Not religious God, not the God that comes pointing down out of the sky at you, but God that is all that you are, human. God that is a creator and a co-creator. God that loves it when you just chill out, have a fag or a beer because you're loving it. Yeah. Doesn't like it when you're hating yourself on it though. But loves it when you love it. Okay. And of course loves it when you're kite surfing, loves it when you're doing lives and trying to create more love in your community and the ripples and the groundswell like you are. So who are we? We're people that just want to be like you.
Oh, there's a song like that. I want to be like you.
Jungle Book, isn't it? Yeah, Jungle Book.
It does feel like a jungle sometimes, but more swinging from the vines more often than anything nasty. And well, so much of what you said, there are so many golden nuggets there that I just kind of, would love to jump on and help our listeners to understand even more of. And probably one of the first things is when you said about God, and I think that's a really key message to make, because I grew up as a Church of England Christian in a family that was both Catholic and C of E, but we weren't particularly religious, and I suppose growing up you hear about different religions and different beliefs, and you start to question, well, what is right, what's wrong, and how can somebody believe there's one God and somebody else believe there's 20 or 3, and they will have different meanings. And I don't want this to get into a sort of religious discussion either, but that is what hit me, I think, is that the understanding and the acceptance and the ultimately knowing as to who God is, and the fact that he's just full of love for everybody and everything, on this planet and everywhere else in the multi universes. So I think that's a really key point to make, really, is for anyone listening, that it's not about changing your religion, or it's about understanding so much more than what we have ever done before. And I don't know if you wanted to add to that.
Yeah, I mean, God is wondrous, but for so many, there's so much fear. Even saying the word God, it starts to vibrate in others, where it's like, I don't want to hear that word, or I fear what that represents, or I don't like to be told who God is. I feel like I know who God is. And, so many different perspectives. And we are really bringing through the truth around what it feels like to know God, what it feels like to connect to God, that everyone has the ability to connect to God, to feel him, to understand his love, to feel his energy. And it's something accessible rather than something to be seen as I can only ask God when I need help, or I'm going to be judged by God. So many different fallacies that are out there around what it means to interact.
Yeah, we don't align to any religion. That doesn't mean we don't support them. We know that religion brings so much love and joy to people. Why would we want to challenge that? That's not our job. All we know is we can tell you how it feels to truly understand who God is, what God is. He's my father, not my dad, right? Of course, he's never going to replace my dad. Father, that's how he's referenced in non-physical. But he's a friend, he's a pal, he's someone that you have a laugh and a joke with. He'll literally talk to me even in the same way that I speak, my terrible South London accent from the UK, yeah, he speaks to me in that way too, because he wants me to feel connected to him in the way, not in a way that he's trying to make up, in the way that it is, okay? And that's really important. And, you know, look, I grew up in a, you know, we both did, I grew up in a, well, kind of Catholic environment, first of all, and then when we moved to England, Church of England. And so from my perspective, being exposed to that brought me closer to the knowing of God, the knowing of Jesus. Not the story of the Bible, no, just my relationship with him. And so really important this, from our perspective, we love the fact that people connect to a religion, whether we align to it, agree with it, that's irrelevant. It's what's important to that individual. What I would say is, if you're looking for the truth, leap within. Okay, if you're looking for the truth, ask your higher self. If you're looking for the truth, ask God for heaven's sake. Yeah. And so don't look to us for the answers. We're not going to tell you.
And that's, I think, such a really important message, because, and it's probably very similar to how I started, and it's having that curiosity, isn't it? It's asking those questions. It's hearing yourself, that you want to understand more, and, as you say, looking within to start thinking, okay, so what is this all about? What am I here for? And I know you mentioned earlier about my journey with yourselves through the process of, you know, I started with you on the Believe program about change. And, you know, that for me has been massive. It's, for as long back as I can remember, I've always been looking to change, to make improvements, to really strive to help other people be the best that they can, you know, and never really realizing that when I was younger, but you know, helping friends with their homework and things like that. I've just always loved it, and been looking for, being curious, asking, you know, I wonder what this is about, what can we do here? And that's what led me to you guys, having gone through some really quite tough times, you know, with my health, with what was going on in my personal life, losing a few really close members of my family, and just thinking, there's got to be more. And, you know, and as always happens in these things, you know, things get brought to you, you attract what you need in that moment. And I first saw Liv in a big international sort of online networking community we were both in, wasn't it? And you were doing some healing sessions. And it just really resonated with me, because even though I was doing Reiki myself and was already a hypnotherapist and coach, it just all resonated. I wanted to hear more and learn more. And I remember a post you did about asking people what their soul contract was. And me, like many others, hopped on and said, oh, I think I'm here to do this. Oh, I'm, you know, working with these kind of people, or I feel a passion for this. And then you followed it up with what you were being given, what you were receiving for each of us. And not telling us too much, because again, it's about that helping people to find their own answers, isn't it? And for me, that was just the start of what has been a phenomenal journey to where we are now, and knowing what's going to come still for us all, and helping to make that change at such a sort of a core level, you know, an individual level, a mass level, you know, on a global scale and more. And I think that's where we're seeing the world is getting to that point, you know, the consciousness of people thinking there is more, there has to be more, or I know, I can tell there's something else out there. And that's what I think is really resonating with lots of people right now, is that curiosity. They're seeing glimpses of, there is more than I'm aware of at the moment, let me get into it.
It's the higher self. It's purely and simply that. It's really interesting when you went, I felt like there's something more. Who hasn't had that feeling? Yeah. It's your higher self. It's knowing as well. So it's your soul contract. You referenced that. It's actually energetically held. The milestones, the key milestones of your soul contract are held within your soul. And so when you trigger something or get close to something that you've put in that, yeah, in your soul contract, your soul, it agitates lovingly and says, hey, and your high self follows it up and says, hey. And so whatever you want to call it, the calling, a gut feeling, it's your higher self. Follow it. And that's at the core of everything we teach, isn't it?
Absolutely. And Katie, this is the thing. And a bit of a misconception is that with soul contracts, that's it. It's all planned out and you just kind of weave your way through all the non-important stuff in order to get through to the important stuff. But actually, every single moment, every single choice, every single ignore, every single deny, every single allow is your free will. You choose always. You are the creator of your life. And you followed, you allowed, you listened, you connected, you felt good and felt better. And in that feeling good and feeling better, you went, I want some more of this. And
that's God. I want more. And when you've had some more, ask for more again. That's creation.
And you know what's really insightful is around the word purpose, because that feeling within you that there is something more, but also that you're meant to be doing something different to what you're doing, or an adjustment, or it's to evolve, and you feel that within you. And again, who hasn't had that feeling? I'm meant to do something else. And purpose, you know, I just want to find my purpose, that one thing that I'm meant to do. And we often say, your purpose is to be. Your purpose is to be all that you are. Your purpose is to be the youest of you that you can possibly be. And that means that you evolve. That means that because you find yourself loving something, doing something, being something in a moment, doesn't mean that's it. You've done it. Tick the box. I'm successful. I found my purpose. No, because we keep evolving. We keep creating. We keep changing. And that is a beautiful thing. That is a magnificent thing for us as physical humans. And it's like, take the pressure off the finding the one purpose that you're here to do and be, and instead do and be it all.
Yeah, because your soul contract is made up of phases. So there'll be loads of be's and doing. I mean, look, here's some practical advice for you, right? If you don't know what you want to be, right, buy that, believe, or just go to our free high self program, connect to your high self, okay? Follow the releasing process and release yourself from all that was fear-based, okay? And from there, you'll find vibrational freedom. You'll become a clear channel. And then you can do this. Okay, higher self, because I know you, I know what your name is. We've got a really good relationship. I trust, I believe, okay? This next phase, what's the purpose? You will have a conversation about the purpose. Okay, and what intentions will I lay around that purpose? In other words, what we're going to do to achieve that? Okay, this, and this. And that might be things that you agree now, or there might be things that you're already in your soul contract that you agreed in non-physical. Great, got my purpose, got my intention. Right, what's the understanding of all of this? Well, in other words, from these intentions, what am I going to learn? Okay, fine. Right, sounds cool. Like the idea of that. And then finally, what's the meaning of all of this? In other words, why? Why am I doing all of this put together? What's the purpose, intention, the understanding? What does that mean for me in this phase? Yeah. And when you do that, you'll bring yourself to reason, okay? Purpose, intention, understanding, and meaning means you bring yourself to have reason. It's spiritual reference. When you have reason, you know exactly what you want to do, and you know exactly what you're going to do, okay, for this phase. And yes, there might be a broader destiny element to it, and that's great because you want to know overall in the direction that you're going in, but you also want to know that what you're doing now is part of that. And so really, really important. Get high vibrational by following the releasing process, connecting to your higher self. It's that simple. It ain't easy. You know that. It's that simple. And then world's your oyster.
Yeah. And you know, that's so important what you've just said there about, because I think so many people now, you know, soul purpose, soul contract is bandied about so much. And there is that pressure that you mentioned, Liv, on people to go, oh my gosh, what am I here to do? And what if I don't do it? And yeah, even I had an element of that, even though I've been working with others as a coach and helping them to find their why, you know, is as we termed it. It's, you can get caught up in that and thinking, oh my gosh, what if I missed the boat? What if what I should have been doing was that opportunity I turned down or didn't get to do? And I think there is that fear again in people that just then generates more fear, doesn't it? And agitation, and kind of blinkers you probably to the opportunities that you should be saying yes to. And that's what I found. As you were talking there, Liv, it really resonated with me that when we were going through Believe and just feeling that almost sort of relief and release of, oh, okay, so actually I have been, you know, everything's making sense as to what I have done till now. And I haven't gone off the path. You know, I'm not losing my way at all. It is still very much the right thing. And it allowed me to feel again that that was the case, you know, to really having that connection, that consciously whole connection with my higher self was just kind of every emotion you can express, of feeling like you've got that eternal friend, somebody who's always been there. It's your best friend. They've always got your back. They're there to celebrate with. They're there to, you know, cry on the shoulder with, or whatever it might be, but they're always there and helping you to really feel when you know things are right and when things aren't, you know, and it makes that process so much easier. You know, you don't have to keep reaching out to external things and people and asking, what should I be doing? When you can just relax back into it and think, okay, let's go through, as you said, the purpose, the meaning, the reasons, and it just feels right. You don't have to doubt that anymore, do you? And it's, everything just flows so much better.
Absolutely. And the word that I love that you keep using is feel, because we as a society, okay, over years and years and years of conditioning have taught ourselves how not to feel, how to be logical, how to think first. And the feeling part of us has been slowly kind of disconnected from.
Yeah.
Because, but you still feel, but it's like a void feeling. Whereas actually, to truly reconnect to all that you are, you need to remember how to feel, and you need to remember what the truth feels like. And again, that is something that it can take a bit of time. Going through the releasing process and Believe is the fastest way to remember how to feel. And it's the fastest way to actually feel better and to feel good, because that's what we want. We don't want to go around in a hybrid of fear and love, which is what most people do, resonating, vibrating fear, and then topping up with whatever love we can muster in the moment. We want to live a life of predominant love. We want to live a life of feeling good in every moment as often as possible. That we're still physical humans. Things are going to come along and you're not high vibrational robotic machines, which means you must only choose love. It's like, no, you know, you are here when things are going to show up. You know, losses are going to happen. Disappointments might happen too. You know, choices that are made thinking and feeling that it's going to manifest into something, and for whatever reason it's not the right time, and you have to navigate that. So but it's being able to navigate through that with truth, being able to navigate that, bring yourself back to balance, being able to navigate that and understand why it's taken place in your life at that time, and very quickly move back into a place of love.
Awesome, yeah. And then what happens then? You start to reconnect, you start to feel. And when you feel, you no longer bury, you no longer go, yeah, I've really dealt with that. Honestly, go away. And your subconscious mind is still triggering the low vibration. When you start to get to that place, your soul grows. It literally grows. When you agitate and create fear, your soul shrinks. You can agitate your soul positively and negatively. And when it's negative, you literally shrink. And therefore, all that you can be, your energetic capabilities, your connection to the self, therefore your physical body, the mind, it all starts to deteriorate. And so by feeling, that starts to come back. And one of the greatest things about feeling, is being physical, because we forget that we are physical humans, not non-physical humans. And so one of the things that we encourage in everyone is for you to love being physical. And that means loving looking in the mirror. It doesn't mean agitating, going, oh, I wish I looked like that person in the magazine or on the TV. It means I want to be the best that I can be, and I'm going to look gorgeous when I am. And it doesn't matter what your stereotypical gorgeous is, it's you're gorgeous, right? And that means you're shining from the soul inward and outwardly, and that your cells listen. Your perspective starts to change, and your perspective tells your soul, because it does talk to the cells. That's how people heal themselves. It tells your cells to grow, to heal, to do the things that before you were telling them not to do, that caused you ailments or even worse conditions. All of a sudden, when you feel, you expand, you evolve, just like you have. Your inner being expands. Your high self can therefore heal you. All of a sudden, you're just being healed, as well as allowing the healing yourself. And so physical prowess is part of being a physical human. And that's one of the things that God, and therefore we, align to, because there's so much neutrality in this world today. And we're not just talking physical. Neutrality could be vibrational. It is physical. It is emotional. We're always trying to be neutral. Okay, that's disconnected. Love being physical. Loving being physical. Love others loving you being physical. And whatever that means to you, we're not going to dictate. And breaking that is a big part of God's destiny.
Amazing. So much there that resonates with me as you've been talking, both, as going through Believe and the gathering and various energetics workshops that we've done, and my own journey, as you referenced there. And just, as you know, I was feeling really low when we started. I'd had quite a few health issues, chronic fatigue, fibromyalgia, lots of things being kind of thrown at me. Oh, it could be this, it could be that, but we're not actually sure, because in the Western sort of testings, if you don't blood tests and various other things, if it's not exactly what they're looking for, and haven't understood what else there could be, it's very hard to diagnose. And so you kind of get thrown these conditions that are, collections of symptoms that we don't otherwise know what to call them or define them as. And so I'd, really been going through quite a tough time for a good 5 to probably almost 10 years, really, when I look back at how I was feeling. And what you mentioned there, Raf, about the feeling itself and connecting with yourself and how you feel. And I knew I didn't feel right, but you don't necessarily know what it could be. And I'm the typical person that part of that striving to always do well and help other people has, that knock-on effect, a detrimental effect in the end, because you just keep going, because you're strong, because you're able to, you keep going, and then you start to ignore those signs, and what starts off as a little whisper, eventually becomes more of a roar that your body says, just change, do something different, because this is not working. And one of the big things for me, one of the key turning point, well, probably two key turning points, I'd say, in my journey has been coming across Reiki, the healing, which, I'm sure a lot of people listening here will have heard about or had done to them, or are Reiki practitioners or energy healers of some sort. And I recently, just before coming across Reiki, had been told I was diagnosed with polycystic ovaries, which I know so many women suffer from. It's a hormonal condition. It affects fertility. And I remember, just breaking down in tears and hearing that I may not be able to have children, which to me was just something I'd, always wanted to do. I love children, still do now. I think children are amazing because they're so unconditioned by society, for one. you know, and the impact that had on me, I knew at the time it was an emotional impact, but I didn't appreciate just how much that could continue then to impact me going forward. And I'd say so I had Reiki given to me, you know, a few treatments, and then I studied it myself and became a Reiki practitioner and fell pregnant without even trying. You know, obviously there are certain things involved, and that to me was just phenomenal. And then the next step of having my son was going through all of labour without any pain relief. And even though I'd gone into it, you know, wanting quite a natural birth, I had an amazing pregnancy, just with some physical issues. So sort of the pelvis wasn't right. So I had a lot of pain there. But I didn't have any pain relief whatsoever. And I was mentally on a beach. And even now, you know, I sort of look up as I remember, because that's exactly where I was. Up above on a beach, listening to the sound of the waves, feeling the sun on my body, just being in complete peace. And, you know, when I look back, knowing that my body was just doing this and I was looked after, and, you know, there was quite a bit going on around me, apparently, you know, all the doctors and nurses, and but I didn't need any pain relief at all. And it was only afterwards that I realized, you know, I'm talking with other people, that I've always done that. My mind has always been able to take over what my body's doing, or, you know, be part of that process and be able to sort of give myself my own pain relief, or, you know, get out of uncomfortable situations. And that led me to then study hypnotherapy, because I thought it's obviously a form of self-hypnosis what we're doing. And I thought, if I can help other people do what I've always done quite naturally, but how to harness that power. And then it was through working with yourselves that I realized some of this heavy kind of, I suppose I used to beat myself up quite a bit if there were things that I couldn't do with my mind, or I couldn't heal myself because I'd tried and it wasn't happening. I thought, well, I can help other people do this. Why can't I do it for myself? And that's where I understood about part of my journey was to have that heavy, what we now, I understand through yourselves, is called, you know, the perspective cloaking. Trauma that's been, however small or big it was at the time it happened to us, it's been hidden away from us now, so that it doesn't continue to consciously cause us issues, but has had an impact on us, whether it's physically, mentally, emotionally, or otherwise. And for me, as you referred to earlier, it was a tough process of going through that awakening, a tough process of really connecting back into the truth of who I am, because of, you know, things that have happened through my life. But the coming out the other side and understanding what you've gone through has all been for that purpose, to actually really understand, to be able to empathize with other people and help them, to have those capabilities in myself, you know, unlocked, so that I can help people. You know, I've, since working with you guys and having those abilities unlocked, you know, and being able to free myself of the polycystic ovaries, the hormonal issues that were going on for years, you know, just in a few months, I feel like a completely different woman. And it's amazing. And knowing, you know, through working with a few other clients and friends already to help them in similar ways, it's just amazing. It's, you know what you've come here to do, and that's all part of the process. And, you know, knowing that could lead to something else. It's not just this is it and this is as good as it gets, you know, it's to continue on that path is just, yeah, phenomenal.
Absolutely. You know, our physical bodies are incredible. They are incredible. And the possibility for change that you influence there's no limits. And this is part of all that we are sharing and teaching and showing and helping people to remember, because we are truly all energy. We are cellular vibrational beings.
Yeah.
Our cells, the trillions of them, you know, they're regenerative. They want to do the best for you. You know, they want to be all that you are in the positive. They want to work. They don't want to cause you pain. They don't want to enact suffering within you. Yet we actually hold the key to that influence. And it's not to say that the manifestation of an illness doesn't stem back to something, because there's always a trigger point, a trigger event, something that has happened, but that could be emotional trauma, as well as, of course, physical trauma. There are so many complexities, so many individualities that come alongside with the physical body, because we are all unique. We all have, no one on this planet has had the exact same experience. You could be twins and have very similar physical forms, yet they are different. And your soul energy is certainly different. And therefore, in that uniqueness, what is so wondrous is the power of your own influence and the power of always consistent capability for change. So no matter where you are from a physical perspective, there is always hope. There is always the possibility that things can get better, and not just in a year, in 10 years' time, or when a cure is enabled, as an example. It could be the start of it today.
Yeah. Do you know what? Bringing it back to you as well, Katie, you've got a very special capability when it comes to healing. Now, the thing is, just because you've had an awakening and you're consciously whole, for others, it doesn't mean they've got to become healers or mediums. Yeah, you can be the best plumber, the best milkman, the best project manager. Yeah, you open yourself up, as we always say, to what the multiverse has to offer when you are consciously whole, to be all that you can. Not to be a healer, but for you, it's no coincidence that you found Reiki. Now, Reiki is a fourth dimensional healing energy. For some, it's really, really powerful. You've got to be mindful of your vibration when you receive Reiki, and also when you give Reiki. And that's where fifth dimension Earth sometimes questions the use of it. It's not because it's not a good energy, it's because of the people that are receiving or using it. It comes back to this again. If you've got to get high vibrational, you've got to follow the releasing process. You've got to be consciously whole. Then you can do whatever you want. But for you in particular, the guidance, when you were talking about childbirth, your high self was basically saying, I was triggering, like she was triggering in you a capability that you have, which ultimately was soothing you. Okay, it was you doing it, she was just allowing it, and that was even then before you even were connected to her properly. And so it shows you the power of your capability, and of course through what you've gone through now and working with you on a one-to-one basis, some of the energetic capabilities that you have, incredible. And so that's your healing. It's not just physical, okay? Your healing, as you know, is around the mind. Some stuff you can do around illumination, and the clarity that you can get with so much of what you do from that is incredible. I cannot wait to see what else comes from you. And, you talk about, hypnosis. Again, it's interesting, hypnosis, isn't it? What's it doing? All it's doing is it's diverting you to a different dripping tap of emotions trip cycle so that you can think something else. Well, if you follow the releasing process, if you become consciously whole, you can essentially do that permanently and make sure that you always cycle onto the same place, which is love, love, love. You don't need to therefore block anything out. And so for you, the power of the energetic minds, the unconscious, the subconscious, the conscious minds is something that's going to flourish in you. We know that, you know that, and that aligns to your physical healing. It's just cannot wait to see what comes from you. This is why, one of the reasons why our team, the Abraham and Jesus Collective, wanted to be on this interview. We wanted to sing your praises and say to anyone who's listening to this, watch Katie. This is what's possible when you align yourself to real change and allow it. It's simple, but not easy. And you've broken free of those things that you thought were wrong with you and found out the truth simply by connecting to your higher self and allowing. So hats off to you, my dear. Very, very powerful, and super excited to see what happens.
Oh, thank you so much. It's I got my image of Wonder Woman then, that's with her amulets, were they called, on her wrists. Yeah, just it has been such an amazing journey, and as you said, the things that are coming through already with different guides that you know, I've been able to connect with, and yeah, watch this space. It's very exciting. And I suppose you've made reference to some of your books, and obviously we'll put links to those in the show notes afterwards, so that, you know, if people do want to go through the believe process and go through that releasing that we've been through, the connecting with your higher self as well, so that free, which I think is amazing that you've done that to help people to form that relationship, and, you know, and really build on it and understand who their higher self is fantastic. And I suppose, really, is there anything else that you wanted to share with us now about what's still in store for you guys on the, let's say, the near horizon, because we know there could be absolutely anything coming.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're constantly evolving. We've had a really big focus in 2020 around the power of energetics. And with the gathering, for those of you who are listening who are like, you mentioned the gathering, what is that? It was the event, the spiritual event of 2020, and it was incredible. And we're saying that as the leaders of that event, but what transpired, what happened within that event is phenomenal, because nearly 50 people on the planet ended up becoming 100% love labeled, and they actually went through a very, very special process, the acceptance process, and became pinned love entities, which means that they only perceive love. They no longer perceive fear. They have, of course, because we're physical humans, the ability to still agitate fear, okay, but that agitation then can be switched and soothed to love. And through the gathering came unbelievable insight. I mean, the subjects and things that we spoke of, a number of books are in the pipeline in relation to what was shared. The first one that came out post the gathering was The Journey of the Soul. And with that, we explain about the fact that you really are eternal. Your soul continues, your energy isn't lost, it remains, and you go on to live an eternal life, and what that means. But also we have shared about your soul energy and how to live life now, and in that understanding of your soul energy. So much around 2020 was about bringing forth all of this new insight about the gathering and about supporting those individuals who attended the gathering to become those loved, labeled, evolved, highly evolved physical humans. And 2021 for us is continuing that evolvement ourselves as well, and a number of publications, and also a number of things that we have in the pipeline.
Yeah, and let's just clarify, when you're love labeled, okay, read the book around subconscious mind, okay, but when you're love labeled permanently, it means you can only trigger love. So whatever comes under the umbrella of love, it could be desire, it could be peace, you name it, okay? And it means you cannot trigger fear, whatever comes under the umbrella of fear. Yes, you can agitate it and you will feel it, but this is a wondrous thing. And we're only just starting to see what being pinned as fully accepting love labeled souls means here on earth. These 50 people, well, not quite 50 people, but almost within the gathering, you are one of them, are going to take that very highly evolved soul of theirs and grow. And it's no longer, we talked about ripples when we first started Fifth Dimension Earth. This is a groundswell now. So it was always meant to be that we focused very much on a key set. We opened it up to everybody, but a certain number of people were attracted to that. You're one of them. And now comes the change. That's 2021. For us, So much involvement and expansion, huge amount of capability, which we've yet to show the world. We're still evolving in it. We're still trying to find our feet in it. And people like yourself, you're not ready for it yet because you are highly evolved, but you've got to get to here. And to get to here, there's stuff that you need to do, just like we did last year. That's how it works. And so the whole circle of love for us is about, as quickly as possible, passing what we've learned back through to others like you. And so 2021 for us is going to be a lot of soul growth, a lot of evolvement for us in order for us to return. And it's very much about consciousness, perspective within the soul, consciousness, perspective within the soul, the unconscious, and what that brings. It's very much about God. And again, not religion. This is about creation and all that he is and all that he wants. For us, it's about being multiversal. One of our soul contracts is, yes, we absolutely love Earth. It's our number one priority. We love being physical on Earth, but we want to be multiversal and influence beyond this universe, okay? So we have to evolve too. So there's a whole bunch of stuff we've got to do there, it's going to keep us busy for 2021. But along the route, that doesn't mean we're going quiet. We're still going to, at the core of everything we do is believe, okay? It's your way it's your platform, your foundation for freedom to move on, to evolve, to be all that you can be, okay? And so we're going to, we've got the Believe accredited practitioners, wondrous stuff going to come from them this year, going to keep helping and supporting them. Programs are going to be coming out, again, to support people who are going through an awakening. We're doing Believe Online, so that's going to be a free program. It's already on the website, but we're recording it. There'll probably be about 20 sessions of it, just to supplement the book. And then, talking of books, we've already got a whole host that we know we're going to write this year. There's one about the mind. So we've already talked about the subconscious and perspective programming. So much of what Believe takes you through the releasing process removes you from some of these controls, okay? And so much of what blights us as physical humans is in the perspective programming and subconscious mind. And so Believe will take you through that, but there are so strong that there is a deeper understanding of that. And we're going to bring that very, very soon. It's magical. It's incredible. So there's that. Then we're going to move into a new language of energy. Some of you already see the way we write. We speak in spiritual reference, spiritual intention protocols. You'll weirdly see a capital letter in the middle of a sentence. It's because it's a spiritual reference. It's connected to God. It's creation. It's what created God, and it's what creates the cup of tea that you make every morning, or whenever it is you make one. Yeah, if you make one, coffee if you don't, milk if you drink it. This is creation. So the new language around that. I can't write an email anymore without doing uppercase. It's weird writing to whoever it may be, who isn't connected to what you're doing. Could be a plumber or whatever. Try not to put a capital letter in the sentence, you know what I mean? But,
I'm getting there myself as well. It's quite funny.
Absolutely. So, this is what we want to connect people to. And from that, in that language understanding comes a deeper understanding of creation. And from that, one of the things that we feel really strongly about is the creation of Earth, the creation of everything within Earth. There's so much that we've already started to scratch the surface on, like around man. So woman, physical humans, nature. And in there, we're going to bring all that through, understanding about the DNA structures, how where man and woman originated from, how they did, how they almost died out, what God did to keep that going. It's a combination of science and the energy of God. Okay, so nobody's right here. We're not going, the Bible's wrong or the scientists are wrong. You're both right. Okay, and so bringing all that together, talking about the dinosaurs, for example, what really happened. Did they really become extinct? All of these things we're going to bring through some wondrous stuff. I'm super excited about that one.
Absolutely, yeah.
There's the event as well, isn't there?
Yes. So, just going back to the language of energy, it's like, so many people love energy. They love to feel energy. They love to understand energy. They connect to the fact that we don't all know what energy is, not in its entirety. And you don't have to be a physicist in order to really understand it, because you interact with energetically day in and day out. So the new language of energy is like, it's fascinating. And when you can start to use it in your daily life, and again, this is what brings it back to being a physical human here on earth, is the fact that it does stuff. It does stuff and it feels like magic because you have intention, you understand what it is. And then when you use it and it has a result, then you go, oh, it's like magic. It's like real life magic. And everyone can have access to this. So this is part of kind of the excitement about being able to really help others understand it. And that's why the power of energetics is a really great way to enable that. So that was a program that we did last year. We now have it openly available for anyone who's interested in going, I like that about what you're talking about here, because and Katie, you were on the power of energetics as well. It's an awesome 8-week program that takes you literally week by week, starting to really connect and understand energy, and it whets your appetite and more. It really starts to evolve your soul energy, and it starts to open things up for you very, 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 very quickly. And we want more and more people to have access to that, to understand what that is and how that works. And so we will also have an event, and ideally, you know, we'd love that to be face to face. We've done a lot of online stuff. We really, the gathering, the original intention was that for that to be face to face, and actually it's worked out better that that was online in the end. But we want the next event to be, it's likely to be a 5-dayer. So 5 days, face to face, timing, location, currently undefined. So we'll have to keep everyone posted.
But what is starting to be defined is the energy of it. Yeah, it's like we're physical humans. We all want to be in there, shaking hands, hugging, whatever it is, whooping, in that same place, whatever the venue is. But it's going to be linked to our involvement. It's going to be the start of the opportunity for everybody else to come back. So come back to where we are, and that's what we constantly try to do, bring people to what we've learned. And so there'll be a heavy influence of consciousness. There'll be new consciousness there. We will bring never before understood consciousness to that event. But we'll connect people to their own consciousness, their consciousness perspective and their unconscious. And so we're going to, remember, we're physical humans, but as part of a physical human soul model, you have a non-physical human element. It's about the evolved soul starts to be able to use that. You can't do that from day one. You have to awaken, okay? And you have to grow. You have to keep growing and expanding like you are. And then you can come to this place where you can start to go deeper. And we, as physical humans, when we start going there, guess what? That equals 5th dimension Earth people. And that is what it's all about. And so we're hoping it will be a 5-day event face-to-face somewhere, not sure where. Of course, we understand the issues with COVID at the moment, and it's something that we encourage everybody to look at our practice. Okay, so I'm going to plug that because it's, on a personal note, frustrating to watch so many people in fear. Okay, so many people ill from this and dying from this. When we have a practice that can relieve the symptoms quickly, that can actually stop the virus from being caught, and not just the current strains. Our practice will cover all strains, and we know it's not for everyone. We know energy healing isn't for everyone, and that's why we haven't made a big deal of trying to advertise it. But it is frustrating when we know it works to watch people die. That's the reality. So use it, people. Anyone who's listening who hasn't done it, use it.
Absolutely. And we will again put the links to that on, because I think, as you say, to be able to help anyone who's open to healing, who, you know, wants to find another way, and, you know, whether it's to protect themselves or just about energy in general, it's, we'll make sure it's available for anyone who's wanting to go through that.
Awesome. Thank you. It's something, it really works. This is what is hard. Because of course we understand it's not everyone's bag, okay, but it works. And if you were to be given an option to use it, just try it. try it with the most allowing energy that you can muster, because it really does work, and it might just open your perspective a little as to what is possible for you.
Yeah.
That's the other thing as well. And to not fear that, to not fear what could also work out for you by trying it.
Yeah, good point.
So the only other thing really, which is our focus this year, and a commitment from us, which is around the Fifth Dimension Earth membership, because the membership is growing as just the spiritual membership. It is the place to be. And even putting the word spiritual in there, I almost feel like I want to move that aside and just say it's the membership. If you want to be somewhere, it's there, because within that membership, yes, there is kind of groundbreaking physical healing. Okay, we have a back catalogue of energy healing that you can access on demand at any time, whenever you need it. Again, there's nowhere else on the planet that has this. It's that unique. That means that if you feel in the moment that you need help, you've got it. It's right there, and you can go and jump in and use it as often as you want. Plus, twice a month, there's something new coming from us. So we do new sessions. And again, there's this constant evolvement from that physical healing place. And then we also provide new insight about what that healing is. So around cellular change, when I was speaking earlier about the fact that we influence ourselves, this is the place to find out, well, actually, what is that? How does that work? You know, if I have this autoimmune condition, why? What's happening within my body? And it's not a regurgitation of what's out there on Google. It is new insight to be able to help you understand, and then also the practice in order to help alleviate and actually return you physically to where it is that you wish to be. Plus, there's spiritual science. So this science is a massive topic, and so we're able to share, again, new things, but things that you can act on, things that are going to evolve you in the moment. Likewise, spiritual sports science. Not everyone is into sport, but actually, if you like running, if you like doing a HIIT workout, if you loved sport as a kid, this is an awesome place to go. Mental health, again, so many people suffering from mental health, yet here we are again bringing leading edge, different perspective, a way to help you in the moment, tactical approaches, things that you can use, how to sleep better, you know, as an example. Then we have living life, you know, photo of a kite surfer, and in that it's about how do you make the most of living, and every month there's something new for you to focus on around living life.
Energy. This isn't just an article that says, hey, it would be nice to do this. We're giving you spiritual references, energetics to practice. It's awesome.
And then there's spiritual development, which is one of the #1 reasons to join this membership. If you're spiritually curious, if you have a connection to your non-physical team already and you want to evolve that, if you don't and you want to know how, come here. Go to the membership. It is going to show you again, month on month, we give you specific things to try that you don't find anywhere else. It's not on our page. It's not in the book. This is new things for you to do.
Yeah, I totally agree. It is the membership site, and in particular, if you've got aspirations around energy. So I'm going to not use the word spiritual. So if you, I don't know how many blokes you got following you, but if you're listening and you're a bloke out there, get on this membership. Stop messing about going, I don't want to go near God and high selves and stuff like that. That's nonsense. It's about creation. If you're a bloke, yeah, you love creating. If you're a woman, you love creating. Get on this membership, okay? Because it energizes you. It brings you to all that you are and makes you want to be free. So whether you're just starting an awakening or whether you're the other side of an awakening, the membership is actually the place to go. A lot of people have been saying, what's next from Raf and Liv, you know, at the end of last year, in a different way that you've asked it. And really, it's kind of just follow what we've done, okay? And if you've been following what we've done and you're asking for more, go to the membership, because it's going to keep evolving you. It's going to ready you for what's coming next from us towards the end of the year. And that is going to, I mean, last year the gathering was good. I just feel the energy is going to blow your socks off. And then what comes from us beyond that, wow, come on. We're talking about God here, right? God, powerful, loving, gentle, awesome, desire-filled. God that has had many failures, yeah? God is in everything and therefore understands everything that we are, okay? And is with us when we love, and is with us when we fear, okay? God gets over that. God keeps creating and co-creating. That's why I love God, right? It's not because of anything else. I certainly don't fear God, okay? And this is what the evolving story from Fifth Dimension Earth is, because God's infinite, right? And some of the guides that we work with in the Abraham and Jesus Collective, they have been around for trillions of years, right? There's a lot to learn, right? We've got trillions of years to catch up on people. We're in a blink of an eye of a physical human experience, and we want to get you as much as we can, okay? So we're super, super excited to just keep evolving the story and eventually just bringing this planet, the groundswell that has already started. Look, those are people out there that are saying, this earth, okay, it's being influenced by different vibrations. That's nonsense. The vibration is from you, and it's from inside out. And get on board, people.
Brilliant. And you know what I love about you two from the moment I first met you is you make it so normal and accessible, you know, and just in your speaking there that you almost didn't want to call it spiritual, and it is for men as well as for women. It's for everybody, and that's what I love about, and I think, you know, anyone who's new to this, to energy, to you guys, will actually find with the membership, it's so normal. It's for everyday people. It's for us, you know, physical humans. It's not, you don't have to be a scientist or a, you know, highly intellectual to understand it. And there are practices on there from, you know, as small as 10 minutes to an hour or maybe more for some of them. So I just, as you said, the place to go. I think you've done an amazing job so far, you know, and the fact that you make this so accessible to so many people is one of the many things I love about you both, and have enjoyed, you know, just spending time with you. Not even, you know, the work we've done has been phenomenal, but even just, you know, some of our social get-togethers on screen, it just shows how much love you have for everybody and this whole practice, and wanting everyone to be the best that they can be, because we can. It's all out there, isn't it?
Awesome.
So thank you so much. Was there anything else that you wanted to share before we go? Any points that you wanted to make, or messages for our listeners?
I just want to say, keep going, right, to you personally, because you're amazing. You have started, you've got an energetic pairing. I don't know how much you've shared on this group, and obviously when the time is right,
Yeah.
I'm sorry if I've already blown your
No,
cover.
we've mentioned it, and yeah, my energetic pair of Jenny will be doing some of these as well to allow people to understand what that means, and you know what that relationship is all about, which is an amazing. So yeah, you haven't blown anything, don't worry.
It's going to bring so much from you, and really from our perspective, we just so I personally want to thank you for allowing us to be here and speak on, I'm going to say it, on God's behalf. Thank you.
Oh, thank you both. Thank you so much.
We love you, Tony.
Thanks
Thanks everyone for listening.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.